So, there's this old Ubisoft game called Splinter Cell, and I don't know if you've heard, but they don't really make them like these anymore.
Nice scenery. Where's my target in all this grim?
I'm tagging 3 possibles on your OpSats. You get to narrow it down from there.
Thanks. I'm on my way.
Oh man, it's been quite some time since I did the last episode of Splinter Cell Classics, and during that time this channel has got a nice amount of new followers, so before I started this video, I sort of realized that I would be talking to 2 different groups of people. The first are the people who are longtime subscribers and who actually enjoyed this little series that I used to do every now and then. And to those people, I have to say, well, first off, this is not a typical episode of Splinter Cell Classics. And secondly, I do apologize for the blackout. It's been very long since the last video, and I do have some, well, call them reasons for that, and I will talk about that a bit later, but the second group of people are the ones that are probably thinking right now, why is this tech YouTuber doing a Let's Play? And to that, this is not just a Let's Play. It's not. Well, it is, but it used to be so much more than that to me, and as it turned out, to a few other people as well. For me, the series was a way to enjoy myself on YouTube while being just me. It would never get many views, nor did it attract many new subs, and that was really never the goal. I never stressed out on planning it out or promoting it to that many people. It was just me geeking out about my favorite video game and having fun. Now, fast forward to today, this is not a typical episode. This is actually from the last Splinter Cell game that came out in 2013, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Blacklist isn't really something that a Splinter Cell fan would typically call a classic. Held my breath for a moment there. This is what Splinter Cell is actually all about. Planning, timing, and executing.
Found the file cabinet. Going through it now.
And it can be just baffling to see how a game with such little action compared to other games can be so intense.
That's 1 down. You've got 2 to go.
So, as I was starting to say, Splinter Cell Blacklist is not really considered to be a classic in the franchise, but I was thinking the other day, it's been 5 years since the last game came out. The series is considered to be dead at worst, hibernating at best. This type of game genre has been thrown on the back burner. At this point, is it really that far off to call any Splinter Cell game a classic? I don't know, you be the judge. For good measure, I decided to call this episode Splinter Cell Post Classics. And part of the reason for that is because it's been so long since I used to make these videos, and also because I want to believe that there are new things on the horizon for Splinter Cell and that we'll finally be able to move to a new era for the franchise, if that makes any sense. I'm aware that using Blacklist and the word classics in the same title might piss some people off, so that's why it's not classics, it's post-classics.
Something made a mess of this place.
The blast pattern says it was a car bomb. Make and model on the wreckage match what the DCS operative was using.
No wonder you want me to check this out.
Now, for those of you who are just having your first encounter with this game, as unbelievable as that may sound to someone like me, according to a poll I posted a few days ago here on YouTube, a number of you never even heard about Splinter Cell, or you were just trolling. But in case you really don't know, Splinter Cell is a stealth game that used to be extremely popular in the 2000s, and the way it was intended to be played is pretty much what I'm doing my best to do here. So in a nutshell, it's to be a ghost. You get in, complete the objectives, and you get out. Very often without touching a single enemy, let alone firing a bullet at them. So the game had a lot of success with a bunch of installments, last of which was released in 2013, and that's this game, Splinter Cell Blacklist, which unfortunately didn't sell that well. Fast forward 5 years, and Blacklist is still the last installment from the franchise. Why? Well, I'm not here to speculate, I'm just here to have fun. Now, I want you to take a moment and just pay attention to what is going on in this scene. We have 3 guards in the area and 1 sniper up top. We have to get inside this van, complete the objective, and then get out. If we get spotted, it's mission over. What happens next?
Grim, scanning the intel.
One more and we can get you out of there.
Now, if getting inside this van seemed easy, that's just because of practice. To be honest with you, I probably failed something like 5 times before I got this right. And this part is intense. It seems perfectly chill, but it's not. And you have the music to let you know. So, we're outnumbered, we're outgunned, we have very little space to hide, and the moment we get spotted, all hell breaks loose. And we know that every step of the way. And that's why Splinter Cell has the ability of keeping you on the edge of your seat, even in a situation that looks as calm as this one.
Скоро это ехало без проблем.
Только 2 минуты, как укатили. Но больной никуда не торопится. Понимаешь?
Как думаешь, чего?
Тбилиси, наверное. Они такие дела любят.
И чем им не угодил этот мужик?
Кто знает, зачем они вообще живут? Все.
Чего доброго прикончить беднягу в неотложке.
So what do? Well, you observe, you look for patterns, you wait for openings, and you plan your next move. In this particular situation, that goes something like this. Like we mentioned earlier, we have 4 guards in the area, 1 with a sniper, 1 on the vehicle to our right, and 2 patrolling. Now the first 2 guys give us very little opportunity to move. That's because they're not moving much, and the entrance to the truck we need to get out of is almost constantly in their field of view. Now the other 2 are not that big of a problem. Since they're constantly circling the area, they leave us out of sight for longer periods of time. So by observing their movement, we can see that once this heavy moves past our 9 o'clock, we're actually free to use the very little window of opportunity that the first 2 guards leave us with. So you observe, you plan, and then you execute. What happens next?
Не думаю, что правильно. Это все из-за бомбы в тачке.
That was close. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is the future of the franchise. As you may know, Sam Fisher made an appearance in a special mission that was recently released for Ghost Recon Wildlands, and not only that, but Michael Ironside actually made a comeback as the voice of Sam Fisher. Now, even though this is far from what fans were expecting, it's still a good sign that Ubisoft hasn't completely forgotten about the franchise. And not only that, it actually gives hope that a new independent Splinter Cell game might be around the corner. Now, there are actually 2 moments in the Ghost Recon special mission that give this hope. First off, at one point Sam makes a reference to Snake from Metal Gear. After being told he looks like he clocked some miles, Sam says something like, "Yeah, a few. I've heard they don't make them like me anymore." But then he goes on to say how there is this one other guy that wore a bandana or something, which of course is the reference to Snake. Then he's told that the guy with the bandana actually retired, to which he replies with, "It's only me." And he has this sort of stare that looks really sad. So that statement in itself, to me, feels like a sort of acknowledgement by Ubisoft that Sam Fisher still exists and that more of him can be expected. Now, on top of that, in the same cutscene, the CIA operative from Ghost Recon Wildlands prepares Sam for a mission that we don't really know much about, but we are told that Sam can be on a plane in just an hour. So that also may be seen as an indication that Ubisoft has something in plan for Splinter Cell, maybe even sooner than it may seem after all these years on the sidelines. Now, I've had my fair share of speculation when it comes to the new Splinter Cell game, and after being wrong on more than one occasion, I told myself, as well as you guys, that I wouldn't be doing it anymore. So I just want to make it perfectly clear that anything I say here is just my own personal opinion that I formed the way anyone forms an opinion. It's sort of like a mixture of my own wishes for the franchise and what I actually see happening around the franchise. I personally believe that Splinter Cell is not dead as far as a gaming franchise goes, but when will we see a new game come out, and what will that game ultimately look like? That's just beyond me. All I really know is that I'm just loving this music cue right now. No, but to continue on what I was saying, it's like the things I mentioned earlier make me optimistic. But on the other hand, Splinter Cell is something that is completely different from what Ubisoft has been putting out for the past years. It doesn't really fit in the money-making formula, and it's my opinion that that is the main reason why the game has been on the sideline for such a long time. It just doesn't fit in their business model. As a fan, I personally think that that's the wrong approach. I think that something spectacular can be made out of Splinter Cell, just like it was a huge success back in the 2000s.
All right, we're done here. Get back to the pickup zone and let's get you out of there.
Just do it before something else goes off.
So yeah, even though I do believe that we will have a new Splinter Cell game sooner or later, that makes me worry about what the game might look like and feel like when it finally does come out. But like I said, I really wouldn't want to speculate, because when you think about it, there's really no point to it. Now we're actually getting really close to the end of this particular mission, so I want to take the time and talk a little bit about why I haven't been investing in the series myself, and why I haven't been posting any Splinter Cell Classics videos for such a long time.
Just found a bonus, Graham. Laptop for Charlie to go digging in.
Bring it in for him to play with.
Now really, there's no special reason. You know, I'm someone who played the hell out of this game over and over and over again, and you can only do that for so long. At one point, I simply drifted away from it. Maybe I've just played the game so much that I simply just wasn't getting anything new out of them anymore. I think I simply needed something new, and I just wasn't getting that from this franchise anymore. So in some way, I guess I felt that making videos about it wouldn't be genuine, and I didn't want to force myself because it wouldn't have been okay for me, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been okay for you. Now, you might ask, well, what changed? Why a video now? Well, to put it as simple as I can, I've had a spark. You know, I don't know if it's because of the recent appearance of Sam Fisher in Ghost Recon Wildlands, or if it's because I've been playing some new games that are supposed to have stealth elements that are just not doing it for me, but for the past 10 days or so, Splinter Cell has been the main game in my mind. I mean, I stopped playing Far Cry 5 in the middle of the campaign just so I can play Splinter Cell, so I think that should tell you something. And don't get me wrong, I mean, Far Cry 5 is an incredible game. I'm really enjoying it, but it's supposed to have these stealth elements, and I don't know if I'm just a noob, or the game is really hard to play in a stealthy fashion, but it's not working for me, at least not in the stealth aspects of the game. And this is actually a feeling that I've been experiencing with many other games that I've been playing recently that are supposed to have that stealth aspect to it, like Ghost Recon Wildlands itself, or the various Assassin's Creed games that I've been playing. And don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed those games severely, but when it comes to the stealth aspects of those games, they actually just make me want to experience true stealth. And based on my experience, Splinter Cell is the go-to option for that. I mean, of course, there's Metal Gear as well, but you know me, I'm a Splinter Cell kid. So as long as I have that feeling, you can be sure as hell that I'll be making an episode of Splinter Cell Classics, at least from time to time. As long as it's fun, and as long as it's something that's relaxing, it will most certainly be something that I will always want to do. But it will also most certainly never be something that I have to do. So with that said, I'm actually going to have to end this episode very soon, and Hopefully it wasn't too long. If I may say so myself, I think I actually did a pretty good job in playing this mission in the classic Splinter Cell fashion, and all in a relatively short amount of time actually. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this commentary, and if you're new, hopefully you found something new and interesting that you can watch. And if you're a longtime subscriber who actually subscribed to this channel for the Splinter Cell content, I really do hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me for a blackout that lasted way longer than it should have. But I also hope that you'll continue to have patience with me when it comes to future Splinter Cell Classics videos, and that you'll also enjoy the videos that I post on this channel on a much more regular basis. As for the franchise, I believe that Splinter Cell has a future, and that with the right design choices, it can repeat its success to the satisfaction of both old and new fans, as well as the publishing company and their huge financial appetites. This franchise definitely has what it takes. Let's just wait a bit more and see if Ubisoft has what it takes as well. Without making any speculations or predictions whatsoever, I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to be very eager to see what happens at E3 this summer. But until then, just want to thank you guys for watching one more time, and as always, stay strong.
Go for extraction, Grim. Get me out of here.
Roger that. I'll see you back on Paladin.
Our payment just cleared.